it was a very natural progression just as the demand increased for my product via social media. So once I started posting more on social media, that's where more random people just started looking at my stuff and wondering, like, oh, hey, can I buy this? And I always was surprised. It was like, really? Like, you want to buy from me and you don't even know me? And I was like, cool. Like, that's, like that was a new thing for me. I'm still humbled by it. Like, it's still something that I appreciate very much. And so it was a natural progression to go online. And there's so many resources for us available today. Like Shopify is so easy to use. So I set up on a Shopify storefront. I found a great developer who I still use now. And she built it for me. Like, she built the site, and it was a slow but steady progression going online.
Hey Jessica, how's it going today?
Hello, good. How are you?
Good, good. So nice to see you. So excited to have this conversation with you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. It's my first podcast interview.
Oh, nice. I love it. Oh, great. So I'm your first. That's awesome. I'll make it nice and painless, I promise.
Okay, great.
Awesome. Okay, so Jessica, for everyone out there listening, give us a little bit about your background and your business and what you do today.
So my name is Jessica Handelman. I am the owner and founder of Jessica Jewellry, which is a fine jewelry brand based in Toronto, Canada. We have an online shop which where you can go and shop online for fine jewelry. So everything is real gold, real natural diamonds, semi-precious gemstones, which means like basically another way of saying real birthstones, like real rubies, real emeralds, and so on. And we take pride in offering beautifully crafted fine jewelry at accessible price points. So that there is something for anybody just entering the market, perhaps starting to feel comfortable to spend on fine jewelry as opposed to costume jewelry, and everything beyond that. I specialize in custom design work, which includes bridal, engagement rings, and then just general custom design. Like, you have this idea, you want to create it. That's my specialty. But we do have that online shop that's more accessible for all and has different things at different price points for more everyday purchases.
Well, it is a great website. As I was waiting for you, I was shopping around. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
thank
I love
you.
it. Of course, the pieces are gorgeous.
Always looking to entice people on there, and bring people in. But the style of the brand really isn't like, um, it's not like bougie, to be honest with you. Like, we're here to like to show people that, like, even if you only have, a limited amount, like, there is something for you, and you should spend on yourself something real that you're going to feel good about. And jewelry often marks special occasions like birthdays, anniversaries, accomplishments. Like, I got promoted, I got my first job, I got, I graduated, whatever you can think of. And a lot of time people want something real. And even if they don't have necessarily endless amounts of money to spend, we actually want to be more like welcoming as opposed to like fancy, if you know what I mean.
Mhm. Yeah, totally. I love it.
Yeah, I really believe in that, and being real, especially given that the industry and the pieces are expensive. But there is something for everyone.
Yeah, definitely, and it's an investment, like you said, and we have to throw that milestone out there. Launching your business is a great time to buy something for yourself and celebrate a big accomplishment.
Yeah.
Definitely. So tell us, Jessica, I read that your grandfather was a chocolatier. So like two of like my favorite things, chocolate and jewelry, like hello. So tell us, I read an article somewhere online, maybe Toronto Business or something. I can't recall, but yeah, it was like your grandfather was a chocolatier. Your parents are, originally from the jewelry industry. So you have this entrepreneurial blood in your veins. So talk about that and talk about, how that helped you go down this path. Cause I know you also went to U of T, you took business. So you studied in the field, but then you went to went down the entrepreneurial path. So talk to us about that.
Yes. So my family's business actually is deserves recognition because having that support actually facilitated my ability to start my own business. My family, my parents have a wholesale manufacturing and distribution company for fine jewelry. So they supply retail stores across Canada and the US with fine jewelry. And they also do manufacturing themselves. So basically, I always had all this inventory available at my fingertips without having to personally invest in it from my own hard earned dollars as a younger person, right? And when I was younger, like, and I'm talking in high school, and in university, my parents always encouraged me to say, look, if any of your friends are looking for a new pair of earrings, for example, or a new necklace or new rings, you should offer to them. Like, what do you have to lose? So here and there, it was more uncomfortable for me because I was younger, but here and there, my friends did know what my parents did. And they would say, oh, I want a new pair of earrings. So I'd call my parents and say, can you bring home 5 or 6 pairs of earrings for me? I want to show my friend wants to see. They would. If they liked them, they bought them. If they didn't, I put it back. That's really how simple it was. And because of, again, the access that I had, my pricing was extremely competitive. I had no investment whatsoever. And so I didn't have to factor that into the selling price. So I was passing along really great prices and a really easy experience because I was really giving people what they were looking for as opposed to presenting them with earrings, necklaces, bracelets, etc., when they were really only in the market for earrings. So that having that background really just facilitated a very low risk entry into being like, meaning without that, I would have had a huge investment and a way bigger risk to start my business. So their business really helped me get started in a very, very low risk way. And so it was, I did study finance and economics. I did work in finance and economics for about 5 years. Um, and so I started, I have a risk averse mentality. So I started very slowly and really built it up from there, taking calculated risks, calculating my investment, and really thinking about it from a business perspective. But yes, the entrepreneur, my parents are the real entrepreneurs who really started with nothing and really took the big risk. And I'm lucky and blessed that I had that and was able to utilize that as a little bit of cushioning for my own business.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Um, And so you talk about calculated risks and you talk about, being risk adverse. I also read that so your business started, I think, in like 2015, but you went to your online store like in like 2018. And I think you started like with private clients. So talk to us about that and how you made or decided to make the transition from private clients to creating an online store.
It was really just natural because I was getting more and more requests to see my product from random people. My private clients were really my inner network. And so I was working from home. And it was very easy for me. But as you start to expand, obviously you don't want to bring strangers into your house. And it was really just a natural transition. And again, it was so seamless for me because I could start off by building, just certain products and then build up from there without, again, having to take a huge financial risk in investing tons and tons of money in merchandise, which you do need in order to be successful in this industry. It was a very natural progression just as the demand increased for my product via social media. So once I started posting more on social media, that's where more random people just started looking at my stuff and wondering, like, oh, hey, can I buy this? And I always was surprised. It was like, really? Like, you want to buy from me and you don't even know me? And I was like, cool. Like, that's, like that was a new thing for me. I'm still humbled by it. Like, it's still something that I appreciate very much. And so it was a natural progression to go online. There's so many resources for us available today. Like, Shopify is so easy to use. So I set up on a Shopify storefront. I found a great developer who I still use now. And she built it for me. Like she built the site, and it was a slow but steady progression going online.
Awesome. And so you talked about Instagram and utilizing that to put your designs out there. How did you begin that, and what does that look like for you today? Is that a really big source of new clients for you?
100%. I started it as just people went, like, I heard about it, like, I heard that people are posting on this thing called Instagram, like posting pictures on Instagram. I'm not a big personal poster, like as an individual. I actually don't even have like a personal Instagram page. So back in, I don't even know when I opened my Instagram. It must have been around 2015, 2016. It was still mostly just people posting pictures. And so I thought, like, okay, I guess I'll open an Instagram account and just post pictures. And I just did that. Like I would take pictures of, I'd have, let's say, a few earrings that I was showing a private client. So I'd lay them out. Like they really weren't good pictures. I would lay them out on a like table, and I would take a picture of them and post it and do like hashtag earring, hashtag earrings, like, um, and then like people started following slowly, really honestly slowly. Like it wasn't an explosive growth. It's still not explosive. It was slow and steady. Um, and it is 100% a revenue stream. Like people go on there, they build trust with the brand via Instagram because we post on stories, we post pictures every day, multiple times a day, we post reviews, we post comments that people, messages, direct messages that people send us, we post them. um, we have reviews posted on Instagram in one of our highlights, and that's something like other people have said. And so it certainly builds credibility, especially as you continue to post and post and post and say, look what we did for these people, look what we did for that person, and so on. It builds credibility and trust with the brand. And I go on there and will make educational posts. I'll go on stories and talk about things that people are wondering, and kind of earn my own, like earn my followers' trust as well, and say, like, look, I do know what I'm talking about. And it definitely has led to people reaching out to buy engagement rings, to buy diamond pieces. Like we're talking spending thousands into the tens of thousands of dollars via Instagram.
So I feel like you're exactly what you said. You used Instagram to really build credibility, really showcase UCG, all that kind of stuff. So, how did you, I guess, what was the process like for you to be able to earn that trust and be able to, have people come on and spend and only do it online because it is just an online store?
Yes, so we do have the option to meet in person if people do want to. We do have an office in North York, like in Midtown. I think it would be considered Midtown Toronto, where we would meet gladly with clients if they want to see something or anything. And there's no limit. So, like, it's not like we only meet with people if you're spending a certain amount. We'll gladly meet with you to see whatever it is you'd like to see. But it is not a storefront. So we don't, advertise the location. We don't advertise, like nothing is set up there. So we go to this office, we will speak with the client and find out what they want to see, and then we will bring the pieces that we need. But yes, there are challenges when people are buying online because they really are trusting in you and in your product. And honestly, what I say to everybody, whether they're spending $100, $1,000, or 10, 15, $20,000 on an engagement ring, is you have to decide if you trust me and the brand. I can't tell you to trust me. You have to feel it inside that, and feel like you're getting what you are expecting to receive. And obviously, like, we're understanding people. Like, I have policies, obviously. Like, you can't buy something and then decide 6 months later, oh, I don't like it. Like, that's not legit. But if you bought something that's not custom made and it wasn't to your expectations, we're reasonable people. Like, you could for sure exchange it or try something else. If you're unsure, like, all it takes is communication. So Instagram is actually a really easy way for clients to communicate. So if people are unsure and they do want to buy online, they can ask us, like, can you take pictures of this earring on your ear from close, from far, from the side, whatever, and we'll gladly do it. That's what we're here for. So there are definitely ways for people who are shopping online only to really get a good view of the product. We've sent close up videos of pieces to people before. We ship all over the world. And honestly, like it's amazing that people really via Instagram have built this trust in the product and in the company that they feel comfortable to buy, even though they're located in the States or in another country, another province, and feel good about the product.
Yeah, definitely. And I was going to ask that question about like location, geography, I guess, like where clients are located for you. So, how did you, I guess, expand? Because you started with private clients, so it would have been pretty local. People, if they want to come in, it's a very local location. How did you branch out into international?
I honestly just organic. We have spent very, very little money on marketing, to the point where I'm trying so hard to spend money on marketing. Like I'm just trying to, but my organic growth has is taking up so much of my time that I almost don't have enough time to actively grow, which is amazing. It's great, but it has all been organic. So even like we have some clients in the US that are regular buyers. They just followed us on Instagram, bought once, and then keep buying. Then they tell a friend. So it continues to be organic. We've done very little influencer marketing, like very, very little. Again, I wish I almost did more. Like we're trying to. Like I'm trying to find the influencers, but it's truly been very, very organic of people finding us on Instagram, one person, like one random person from, a random town or whatever, buys, takes the plunge, and tells their friends.
Right. So you talked about you getting on Instagram, you educating, prospects and customers that are visiting your Instagram, account. And so to me, it feels like you're very much in the business and you are the face of the business. You're doing a lot of things to help with that credibility. So as it relates to organic as well, what else are you doing from that standpoint too that you think is influencing this organic reach that you have where you don't have to spend a lot on advertising?
We are actively trying to get in front of people. We do actively design new products and um we do think proactively, you know what I mean, in order to be relevant and appealing to today's client. One thing that we do like to do is collaborate with other local companies, and we do like to, wherever we can, pop up at different places. So we have, an event together, and that will kind of cross sell with the company that we're working with. So we bring our clients, you bring your clients. Let's all try and win from that. We've done markets, we've done mom and me markets. Like back in the day, I used to do a ton of markets, where you go, you set up a booth, and um, you try and sell for the day and give out business cards and just hope someone takes it. I remember there was one market I did in like 2016 or 2017. It was a total flop, like total flop. And it was the full day, and it was expensive at the time. Like it was a lot of money. And there were a lot of people there, but those people were not they were not shoppers. They were just kind of browsers. Um, and I remember feeling so defeated at the end of the day, but somebody took a business card, and that somebody, since that market, has bought from me multiple times a year online. And I know that specifically because the first time she bought online, she met with me to pick it up. And I asked her, where did you get my info? And she's like, from that market. So you never really know where the next client's going to come from. And our philosophy, and my specific, like personal philosophy, is to keep doing the things that made you successful to begin with, which is to be inviting to new clients. No client is too small. Invite people to come in, like keep hustling forward, keep proving yourself. And that keeps us grounded. It keeps me hustling. And it keeps me working hard to earn my clients' trust, which continues to lead to organic growth.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. And I like that you, like, expose that little bit of, struggle that you had, and it happens to us all the time where it's like things just don't go the way you expect them to go, and it can be pretty debilitating to the ego and like, should I continue? Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
So, thanks for sharing that. That's insightful. How did you after that show, right? I don't know how long it took that person to actually make a purchase, but like, how did you pick yourself up and continue to go? What like, to the next
There's
thing?
nothing you can do. Like, what are you gonna do? Sit around and like, complain about it all day long? So it was a sucky day. It was a waste of time. I wasted, a couple of days preparing merchandise. I wasted the whole day standing there. I wasted my time. I can't get it back. So let's learn from it. So actually from that specific experience, I made a criteria for what I do require to engage in other shows, which is traffic of people. So there needs to be a certain amount of people because the more people there are, the bigger chance that someone will spend, and the type of people looking to shop. So I'm not looking to go to these. There's markets that encourage, let's say, families where they come as like a family activity. Those are not shoppers. Those are people who are looking for activities for their kids. So going to markets where shopping is the activity. And so I have criteria now that I look to assess future markets, but that was my key learning from it. But at the end of the day, these, I don't want to say failures, but these unsuccessful opportunities are inevitable. And, not every hit is a home run, and we can just keep trying, right? Um, Try to go to the next one and do a bit more research ahead of time to determine that it will be a worthwhile in terms of time and effort before committing, and just learn from everything that's not successful, and even things that are successful, to always try and take a step back and learn.
Exactly. I think that's the key lesson, right? It's like you took a step back and you optimized your process for the next time. And so I think that's like that's so key. You have to learn from your mistakes, and they're little roadblocks. We all run into them. They're little bumps in the road, right? So it happens. So you talked about markets and going to like physical markets. So that all came to a head, in the last like 3 years. So how has that I guess you are a D2C business anyway to begin with. So it's not like it drastically changed for you, but what were the positive things that came out of the last 2, 3 years and the changes that we've seen?
Yeah. So when the pandemic started, I honestly thought like this was going to be it. Like I thought I didn't think I was going to close down at all because I structured myself to be very resilient as a business, like from a business perspective. But I really thought sales were going to be quite down. They were not at all. They actually increased significantly because people had more money to spend. Like my client didn't really change. And to be honest, the clients who were coming online to buy jewelry anyways weren't really the people who were losing their jobs, to be honest with you, unfortunately for some and realistically for others. So what the a big positive that came out of the whole experience though was that people grew more comfortable buying online. So before the pandemic, there was always the option to shop in person, which there still is now. But once the pandemic hit, there was no longer that option. So people just took the plunge with buying online, and it created a lot more comfort to buy luxury goods or higher end goods that you would typically want to see, touch, and feel in person first and just buy it online. And so that really did take my online business to a different level. And it even took my engagement ring and custom design business to be done online as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like wasn't there during the pandemic like a whole jewelry there was a shortage for everything, but wasn't like gold and like I feel like there was something along that line where people were just going crazy to find jewelry.
Yes. So gold prices skyrocketed significantly in the early months of the pandemic. So I remember like I want to say April, May 2020, there was and I could be wrong on the dates, but it was sometime around then, there was one big hike in gold prices. And then again that summer, it again went up. So I remember people were really wanting to buy jewelry, and replacing my product actually had cost almost like like it costs a lot more. So we had to really re-level everything because I would sell something for, let's say, $500, and then to get it again and sell it again, it cost me almost that amount. Like, it was crazy. The increase in cost from a gold perspective and the US dollar. So that was definitely an adjustment, but there was a rush. Like, people were shopping big time. Interestingly enough, it was kind of crazy, but people were definitely shopping.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember reading articles and stuff about that. And so in terms of economics and pricing and things like that, because that is your specialty, how did that impact your obviously your pricing, and how did you relay that to your existing customers that maybe came back to repurchase? Did they see a change in pricing?
So our price points are always really quite fair, especially if you compare to other companies that are selling the same or similar merchandise. Our pricing is pretty fair, and that actually comes back to a business philosophy to be fair and trustworthy. Like, if I want my clients to trust me, then I can't, and I shouldn't, because out of ethics, take advantage of people and charge more than I should, because that wouldn't be fair and that wouldn't be right. And that's not what we do. But when I did increase my prices when gold went up and the US dollar went up because my costs went up. So I didn't make a big announcement like, "Hey everybody, I'm more expensive now." Like, that would have been not really the best marketing move, but I just increased what I needed to and when I needed to. And if people said something, I would tell them the honest answer. I would say, like, "Look, gold prices went up. Sorry, like, it's really out of my control. Like, this is the new price. Kind of take it or leave it." And if there was anything I could do to ease the burden a little bit, I was open to it. Like, I remember I gave some people a little bit of a discount. They'll give you 10% off because you just bought this and you want to buy it again or whatever it is. But it's out of my control. So I would be honest. And because people trusted me and they trust, like, okay, like, this is a fair price, they would purchase it. Like, they still came back and bought it.
Yeah. No, it's all about transparency, and it seems like that is such a big component of your brand and just you as a person.
A hundred
So
percent.
like that credibility is there, and it like comes through. So I can get that.
And it comes back to me telling people, like, I can't tell you to trust me. I can't tell you trust that the price is a good price. Um, and some people will, even when it comes to diamonds, like, they'll come back to, a lot of people will say, is there anything better you can do? And my philosophy, whether you're spending 100, 1,000, 10,000, is I will give you the best price that I can, whether you ask for it or not. And when people do go out there and do further research, they come back to me. They're like, "Yeah, you really are fair." I'm like, I know, like, I know it's fair.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. So yeah, so tell us what's next for your brand. I feel like, you've come from humble beginnings, which is always so nice to see, and you have a great presence online. You're doing really great in this space. What's next on your list for you?
So I really, really would like to expand my online and hit up the next tier of shoppers. So I'm looking to really capture shoppers who are looking for higher price point items. Like, I would love to take my website just even up a notch, even more, without losing, what again made me successful in the first place. So I'm not looking to cut out the under 250 category at all. I'm looking to just expand because I think as we all age and people's careers change and lives change and so on, there are more people who are actually willing to invest in a $1,000 gift for themselves as opposed to a $200 gift. So I'm definitely looking to take the product up to have more of an offering online in that level. And I'm looking to really expand geographies. I'd love to get more clients across Canada, across the US, and just hit new geographical markets. And that's what I'm hoping to achieve this year.
Awesome. And what are the steps you're taking to start that go down that path?
So I'm trying to explore some paid advertising. I have done it a little bit in the past. It's a tricky landscape to navigate because it's pretty expensive if you want to actually invest in it, and it's hard to always see what the returns are. But I'm looking to explore some paid opportunities. I'm looking to get media coverage, so I've just hired someone on a freelance basis to take care of some public relations and media. That's always a next step. Um, Really, just again, like having a presence on different channels. So trying to explore other media outlets other than just Instagram. So maybe it's YouTube, maybe again, it's finding new media and so on to reach new markets.
Mhm. Definitely, and that reminded me, you did a pop-up with a charity in 2020, right?
I did. Yes.
You did talk to us about that. I read briefly about it.
Dress for Success. That one are you talking about?
Yeah, yes, I think so. I think that was the one, and I thought, like, it just reminded me of being
In 2020, I designed a bracelet that's still available for sale, and I don't have one out. It's called the Be Kind bracelet. That might be what you're
that's
thinking
the
of.
one.
So we did launch that in 2020. And so before the pandemic, I did a pop up with Dress for Success. Um, that was before the pandemic. And then my charity initiative was the Be Kind bracelet. So that started out as like just thinking, what product, like, can I create a product where the proceeds will go to charity, where the message is nice, and the product is shoppable, like people want to wear it. And so I designed this bracelet with it together with a charity in 2019, like late 2019. And then I remember the first batch of production was ready in like early March 2020, like literally a week before like the world shut down. And then, so I had all these bracelets, and then the charity's like, we can't launch now. Like, people don't have food to put on their tables. Like, we're going to really be like, buy a gold bracelet and, do good. And I was like, yeah, like, that would be so insensitive. Like, that's the wrong move. So I held off on it. And then in like April 2020, we are like, you know what? People have adjusted a little bit. I think people realize like this is not a 2 week lockdown. This is going to be more long term. And we thought, let's just go for it. And at the time, the charity was organizing for like a certain amount of money. You could buy you could supply a family with groceries for 2 weeks or something like that. And that was in conjunction with a local grocery store. So the math worked out that the cost of a grocery like bag for a family for 2 weeks was essentially the proceeds from the bracelet. So we were able to market it to say, buy a bracelet and support a family with groceries for 2 weeks. So we did it that way, and sold out within a weekend. Like people felt so good about it. And people still will wear the bracelet. It's a popular gift even for younger people. Like, let's say you want to give a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old, 15-year-old a gift. It's $198. So it's at a good price point. There's a diamond in there also. And it just says be kind on your bracelet. And like, what a nice message to look down and see
Yeah.
it. But it's subtle, like it's still chic, like it's delicate and dainty and subtle. Um, and it also allowed people like not everybody goes online and makes a donation for $200. Like that's not something that everybody does. But most people shop online. And so some people perhaps feel more comfortable buying a $200 bracelet and feeling like I just made a donation, which they are doing indirectly, versus, I'm very comfortable to go online, put in my credit card and say, here's X amount of money to go buy food for people in need, right? But it reached people who don't necessarily do that, but they do shop online and they still got the benefit of feeling and actually doing good. Yeah, I love doing stuff like that. I think it's a great way to reach people. It's a great way to do something nice, and you get a pretty bracelet. Like it's great.
Yeah, no, definitely, and that's why I brought it up, and because you mentioned, reaching new markets, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, I remember reading about this, charity thing." I think it's a fantastic way to do it. Well, Jessica, this podcast is called Born to Be, so tell us, what were you born to be?
What was I born to be? I
Yeah.
have no idea.
And that is okay.
Yeah, like, to be honest, I really have no idea. I think I always did see myself being in this industry, to be honest, because I was so rooted in it. Like, as a child, I worked at my parents' office. I always liked it. I always had a good eye. Like, even when I was in high school and I was, let's say, working in the summer at my dad's office, like, he would bring me in with meetings and be like, she would show me diamonds and be like, "Can you see the imperfections?" And I would look at it, like, "Yeah, I see it. It's right there." Like, I just had an eye for it. So
Wow.
I think I always
Yeah.
would have ended up in this industry. But when I finished university, I really thought I was going to stay in the corporate world. I was enjoying it. I was, moving myself along. I think I have potential to succeed in the corporate world. So I started off thinking I'd like probably root myself in my family's business. And then I went to school. I really liked finance. I really enjoyed the work I was
Right.
doing in banking. I thought I would stay there. And then like just trying something new really took off. And I thought, well, this kind of makes more sense.
Mhm. Right. No, definitely.
Every day changes, and then you get married and you have kids, and then things change
Right?
too. Trust me. Yeah.
Life changes all the time.
Yeah.
That's too funny. Well, Jessica, this was a great conversation. Thank you so much for joining us today. Before we hop off, please let our listeners know how they can find your amazing jewelry.
Thank you. So if you're on social media, you can follow us at Jessica Jewelry, and we spell jewelry the Canadian way. So it's Jewellery. Don't make that mistake. You can find us online, jessicajewelry.com. And of course, if you ever do want to see us in person, you do have to make an appointment. But we are so thrilled to meet anyone in person, and honestly, so excited by it. Like, we really do enjoy meeting people.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jessica. This was a great conversation.
Thank you so much for reaching out to include me.
Of course, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Take care.
Okay. Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye bye.